It's 10 years since the start of the war in Afghanistan, but a former commander of coalition forces says the United States and its allies are still a long way from reaching their goals. Retired Army General Stanley McChrystal says the US went into the war with a frighteningly simplistic view and only a superficial understanding of Afghanistan's history. Amnesty International has welcomed progress over the past decade in areas such as health and education. But when it comes to security and justice, it's found the situation has remained stagnant or even deteriorated. Afghanistan correspondent Sally Sarah reports from Kabul.
For many ordinary Afghans, it's not an anniversary to celebrate. There's deep resentment over the presence of foreign troops and anger over civilian casualties.
We've had 10 years of this occupation by the US and its allies in Afghanistan. Our people have suffered a lot of instability. Poverty has increased and we have seen no benefits.
It's America and Australia's longest war, and there's still no military victory in sight.
I don't see this war subsiding or being won or lost in the next several years. I think it's going to continue.
President Obama inherited the war. He may be out of office before it ends.
I have said that my number one goal is to make sure that Al-Qaeda cannot attack the U.S. homeland and cannot affect U.S. interests around the world.
The bulk of foreign troops are scheduled to leave in just over 3 years' time. At a NATO meeting in Brussels, the Afghan government expressed apprehension about what will happen then.
Our giant enemies were assuming from the beginning that sooner or later the international community will run out of patience and their interest will wane and they will leave Afghanistan, and Afghanistan will be left isolated.
10 years on, daily life for many Afghans is still bitterly hard. 1 in 3 lives in absolute poverty without enough food, shelter and clean water. Abdul Wali and his son Abdul search for anything they can sell but wish for a better future.
Oh yes, I wish for much more. I have this hope to provide for my children. I wish I could at least have my own house for my family.
The poor in Afghanistan are among the poorest in the world. The 10 years since the start of the war have delivered improvements in education, health and infrastructure, but up to 9 million people are still living below the poverty line.
Well, places like this one give you an idea of the extremes in Afghanistan. Those who are collecting the rubbish are living on only a few dollars a day, but they're here in a neighbourhood which is home to some of the most powerful people in the country.
The remnants of the Taliban government blame foreigners for the country's problems.
For what reason they came to Afghanistan? If they came for justice, there is no justice. If they came for security, there is no security. If they came for the economic progress, there is no economic progress. Right now, the situation is very worse. And position of war is very terrible. And America became enemy with the people of Afghanistan. And they are killing every day, dozen people.
A decade after the war began, it's still not clear when peace will finally come to Afghanistan. Sally Sarah, Late Line.